Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Club Iron podcast. I'm joined by Mr. Knott once again, and this is a bit of a special podcast. This is a post-fight sort of, not press conference, post-fight podcast.
Yeah, press conference.
But this will just be an item of content that we put out after every fight that I have, and after every fight that maybe Alex Knott will have.
Why you say maybe? Like I'm not committed. Well, I'm not committed. It's fine.
That proved my point. But we're just going to get into it today, to be honest with you, and speak about yesterday, because obviously I competed yesterday, and this is my medal. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah, I can see that.
This is a bronze medal from the Drag Open Absolute Division. For those of you who are unaware,
why is it called Absolute?
Because I think it just means absolutely everyone. I'm not actually sure, to be honest with you. I don't 100% know.
Because when you say absolute, I'm trying to think, what does absolute mean? Does absolute means like the absolute best out of all categories? That's probably it.
I don't know. Let's have a look. I'll look it up.
I'd imagine absolute is like absolute as in this is without a doubt the best here because they beat everyone. You know what I mean? Because you're a divisional winner if you win your weight class, but you don't win. You're not the absolute best because you could be beaten by somebody in a heavier weight class.
The Absolute Division in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament is often regarded as the ultimate proving ground.
Yeah, because you're the absolute best.
It is an open weight style tournament that pits competitors against each other regardless of weight. That means that a 70 kilo person can be matched against a 95 kilo person.
I like how they're regarding somebody as heavy in BJJ as 95 kilos.
Yeah, you don't see many people who are like.
Because I realized I'm in the top category, like the open category, because of how heavy I am.
Yeah.
If I'm going to compete, I'm probably going to want to come down to low 90s.
What do you know?
About 105 I know, but I'm better heavier. But I think
you'd be my weight.
Yeah, probably
14 keg off.
Probably because I'm actually not built like. I think you're bigger boned than me. I've got really small joints. I think I'd be good. Yeah, you are definitely bigger boned than me. I'd rather be. I don't know. I just feel like I'd be strange because I'll see what happens in my cut now. But I'd probably want to be low 90s at the heaviest. If I was to pursue BJJ as a primary thing, I kind of want to get massive and be a beast.
Why?
I just genuinely think that I've got that monster that I need to apply to the gym. I just love it.
Yeah,
but then for what? For
utility.
For more lack of fitness. For me walking around like a fucking monster with a poor cardiovascular system.
Yeah, I just don't think that's. I don't know. We've obviously looked at bodybuilding like for the past 6 months, haven't we? We've been speaking to some of the best bodybuilders in Britain, and it's just like I just think like.
Well, maybe the Club Iron. Maybe this is a turning point for the Club Iron podcast. Maybe instead of getting bodybuilders on, we're gonna move in to martial arts, move into functional fitness, CrossFit. I mean. Yeah, weightlifting is actually really good. Olympic weightlifting.
Fitness as a whole, I think.
Yeah, functional fitness. I think is I know it sounds kind of trendy, kind of woke, like all of a sudden, because you can't take it away. But that's what was cool about talking to Neil Arms is that he's a bodybuilder and he doesn't think that bodybuilders today are bodybuilders. He just thinks they want to get on stage and take some pictures. They think it's a photo shoot.
Yeah,
an old school bodybuilding, as bodybuilding is, as old school and as down to the bone as it gets, is still a really, really good sport. But I do think that you're damaging most of your life for the sake of looking good. And for me, as somebody who I like to do a lot of different things, I don't think that would work for me. BJJ I'd have to be careful with because I have got some pertaining injuries that are going to be quite easy to be manipulated. When I say manipulated, I've got some injuries that could be worsened very quickly. Even when I went the first time, my injuries flared up immediately more than they have for years.
Maybe it's because they're weak. Like you've got like a weakness there. Maybe
there is a weakness there. There's no tissue holding my shoulder joint in.
Yeah, maybe you can build that up through BJJ.
I was talking to Jamie about that because he said he had a shoulder injury.
He had a horrific shoulder injury.
Yeah.
And he nearly retired from it as well.
I know. He told me about it. He told me that he obviously is still doing it, but he's not doing it hardcore anymore. Even when I rolled with him, he told me to take it easy on it, which is hilarious because he didn't give me a chance to even touch him.
Yeah. BJJ is mad though because it's one of those sports that you can do for like when you're 70.
It takes people. Some people take 20 years to get. Like I mean, Joe Rogan talked about it taking him forever. Between brown and black belt, it was like 16, 15 years. So usually people who are black belts are like 40, 50 years old.
Yeah,
a lot of them.
If you look on,
if you don't do it as a professional sport, they're usually older guys.
If you look online, there's a lot of 70-year-olds in Brazil who compete, who are blue belts, and they'll compete at like 70, 80. I think some of them is. I think. Let me have a look at the oldest BJJ competitors.
How can you do that? I feel like even me at 21, although that's probably because I've always loaded my joints in the gym and I haven't really allowed myself to be mobile. I haven't done any dynamic stuff. That's probably the problem. Lack of dynamic stuff. And I know this is supposed to be like a press conference from your fight, but we can have a general conversation about it.
Yeah, I think. Oh. Yeah, there's been a jiu-jitsu fighter that's 90 years old. Like, it's insane. Like, it's one of those arts though where you can just do it and you can do it so well until you're older, because it's not about, you know, obviously like in competition you want to smash someone, but it's not one of those things that you smash people in the gym. Like, you know, when you train like bodybuilding, you're like pushing your muscles to failure. Like, you know, like after a leg day, you're written off for 2 days, 3 days.
Yeah.
Maybe more, probably more if you really train legs. BJJ is one of them where you can do it every day. Because it doesn't have to be failure every single time. Obviously, comp training is different. You know, you want to train as much as you can and go hard and go often. But when if you're just training BJJ just to train BJJ and get better on the mats, you can literally just do it like every day. You know, I think Jocko Willing does it every day.
Yeah, he does.
Gordon Ryan does it 7 days a week, 3 days a week, 3 times a day. Obviously, he's different. You know, he's Gordon Ryan, for fuck's sake. But you can literally just do it every day. And the comp yesterday was so much fun. And I think the day was good as well. I mean, it was a long day because I had to wait about 9 hours to compete. Got there at what time did we get there? 9 in the morning, was it, I think? It was 9 a.m.
Yeah.
9 a.m. I had to make weight for 91 and a half
kilograms.
kilograms.
We get back? Probably about just short of 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock. So it was like 9 to 5.
But you didn't do anything until fucking 2 o'clock.
No, my first match was...
Gone 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Nearly 3 years.
Yeah, I had to make weight as well.
Yeah, and you competed like 3 times.
3 matches.
Times between, you know, in the matter of like 25 minutes.
Yeah. It was a long day and I had to make weight 91 and a half kilograms.
It's a bit annoying though, because the best thing for you to have done nutritionally would have been to eat at about 12 o'clock, a big meal, and then have a squares bar about an hour before going on, or an hour and a half. But you had all your cyclodextrin and you were drinking all the EAs, getting all your carbs, getting your energy levels up. So you peaked way before you fought, and you were fucked. I remember you being a bit fucked, and you were literally chewing a squares bars. They called you the absolutes up. Yeah, and you were like, "Fucking hell!" Like I've literally just eaten. I felt so sick as well when I was. That must be horrible. I remember when I went to my first sessions, I made sure that I didn't have a meal. I had an almost empty stomach. I was so sick. I was buzzing. First match, I won by cramp, via cramp. Yeah, I was probably lucky for you actually, because you had a minute to. I was in a good position anyway with that guy. I mean, I think I would have submitted him, to be honest with you. And that's not to be cocky. I'd for those who don't know, I was on top of him. Had 2 of my legs. I had 1 arm in, and I was going to go for a triangle, but then we had to reset, and then next thing you know, we cramped up. I mean, I don't understand. I didn't understand the cramp. I didn't understand what was going on. But he couldn't open his hand. His hand was like this. Yeah, his forearm muscles were cramped. So it's that same. It's happened to my foot before, when my toes is like curled over and you can't straighten it. It's like the whole muscles in your foot are cramped up and you can't move. It's actually really painful. But I mean, if they'd given him a minute to sort it out, would they have given him a minute to sort it out? I don't know. Maybe. But he couldn't continue though, could he? No, he would have cramped up again straight away. He would have had to stop. Yeah, which was unfortunate for him. But I think he caused his own cramp, to be honest with you, because when I took him down, he had me in a guillotine that wasn't on at all. You thought it was. Yeah, but what the fuck do I know? I don't know any better. It looked like he was choking you out. Yeah, and then obviously I got out of that and then whatnot, and then went mount, and then that was that. The second match though was good, but it was really frustrating. I was winning the second match 4-0. And then it was really annoying. I was looking at the scores, and he had nothing on you until like literally the last second when we watched the footage back. It was literally the last second when he choked you. That's when he got it. I looked at the scores. That's when he ticked over. Yeah, that was really annoying. That is annoying because I think you lost focus. You must have, because you were literally in front of him, just up on your knees, and then he just came and took you. At least I think that's what I remember seeing. Yeah, he had my back, and then against someone's back. Basically, the way the BJJ scoring system works is you score it based on effectiveness of striking. So if we were in an MMA fight now, if I was on your back, you wouldn't be able to strike me.
whereas I would be able to strike you. So that's how they score it. So being on someone's back is the most advantageous position in terms of scoring. And then you have mount as well, then side control, but whatnot. And then my last fight was good. That was good fun. That last fight. It was a bit of a dog fight, back and forth. He tried to sweep me a couple of times. It worked, and then I instantly swept him. I was watching back of my sweeps with my coach, and I was like, "How the fuck did I do that?" Like some of the stuff I did to him, I've never done ever.
So what did you do yesterday then? You said you went down to Fight Project Gym, did you?
Yeah, I went down
Chatting to
there.
them,
Yeah, I was speaking to them, and
showing them all the footage.
Yeah, and they were like, they were pleased, and it was a massive day for me yesterday because I hadn't competed in 3 years, and it was my first time competing a blue belt. So 3 years out of the game, no competition experience at blue belt, and I didn't really know what to expect. You know, I've only been back training BJJ properly for maybe 3 months since the start of the year, since I started cutting really with Lau. And I had loads of self-doubt going into that yesterday. Loads. I was thinking, have I trained enough? I was going like twice a week or 3 times a week maybe. Was that enough? Obviously it wasn't enough because I didn't win gold, but I didn't feel out of touch and out of place there. I felt like I could keep up with people, and I felt like technically I was all right. I just want to compete more now. I don't know what it does to you. It's a weird feeling. It's probably because it's so euphoric. Like, you know, the euphoria.
Oh yeah, I could sense that. I was kind of jealous of that. I felt like I wanted to feel that as well.
Yeah, and the euphoria from competing, and just like the nerves before it, and what you think in your head. Like your brain plays weird thoughts into you when you're waiting to compete. And I'm one of those people when I compete, I don't like to speak to people. I just like to
I gathered.
Put my headphones on and just listen to music. And I have my pre-comp playlist on Spotify. If you want to check that out, Matthew_00 on Spotify. Let me know. I just like to cut myself off and just get in the zone to compete. I don't know if anyone else is like that. But I just like to be in the zone. A lot of people are like talking to their friends. Like Lloyd was like, he was like that. He was talking to the boys. I don't know how people can do that. I like to just get in.
I think I'm the same. I just like don't want anyone to talk to me.
You'd be all like that every day.
Yeah, that's true.
But I don't know. It's such a weird feeling. Like the euphoria you feel after it. It's like I can't describe it to anything else. The feeling after a fight is like nothing else. It's like you've overcome someone. Like you've literally forced someone into submission because of you outmaneuvering them, and you've won in front of everyone. And I was the only person, because of the way it worked, is because I was so late in the day, I was the only person who was competing at the time. When I had my bronze medal match, I was the only person competing at the time. So everyone was watching.
Yeah, everyone was looking at you.
And that's such a nice feeling. I don't know. If I'd have lost, it'd have been a horrible feeling. But
that's the thing, see, it's the risk and reward, isn't it?
I was so gassed in my third fight. I was so tired. It was unreal. Like I remember I was in his guard and I was pushing my arms into his armpits, and I could sense he was more tired than me. He was breathing. You could see on his face at the start of the match he was laughing. Like when I took him down, when he took me down and I swept him, and I was in his guard, he was laughing. He looked like at someone in the crowd like that, and was like just laughing. And then he was like, as if to think, like, all right, let's compete. And then he was like laughing at me, and then he like just went like he was like making it out as if it was like effortless. But then I think it sort of got to him then when we were rolling, because there were 6-minute matches.
Yeah, they were quite long.
6 minutes of blue belt.
Fuck.
6. I was gassed.
So what is that a white belt then?
5.
Does it go up as the belts get higher? 5,
6, 7 at purple belt, 8 at brown, 10 at black.
10 minutes.
10 minutes of black belt.
But black belt, you're not quite as aggressive, you. It's probably just like they're both sat there catching their breath together, like halfway through, probably.
Yeah, it's very technical. It's like it's literal chess moves.
Yeah, it literally is.
White belt is like a bit like checkers. There's obviously an element of chess in it.
It's quick.
It's quick. It's bang, 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 bang. Like you saw that with the white belts yesterday. Like there were some white belts there who were extremely skilled. And there was one boy there who was really good. He was so athletic.
Who was that? Wasn't the black guy, was it?
Yeah. He was
really good. I was surprised he had a white belt on. I thought he was blue or something.
I thought he had a high level judo skills because he was throwing people like nothing.
Yeah, strong. He looked really strong.
And he was just throwing people around. I was like, oh, he must do judo. He must have a good judo level. But no, he's just been training for 3 months.
3 months?
Yeah, 3 months, they said. But he's just so athletically strong and gifted.
Yeah, he was strong. Black people usually are athletically gifted, I'm not going to lie. Not that it's not to take anything away from his hard work, but I could see that he was good.
Yeah.
He was going up against the big boys and just smashing them on the floor.
Yeah, he was. He was winning. He was winning the absolutes as well. He beat this guy who was like 100 plus kilos. Quite large guy.
Yeah, I saw him, massive bloke he was.
Through him. I was like, how? Well, obviously I know how because of good leverage and technique, but he was so athletic and I was like blown away by it. But the third fight I had, I was so tired at the end. I was absolutely gassed. And I was like, when you're competing against someone, right, I told Lloyd this, and I'll tell you this now. When you're competing against someone, even if you're tired, keep moving forward. If you move backwards, then they can smell blood. If you're moving forward, right, and you don't even have to do anything. I was just like pushing or like just like doing something, moving my arms or something, just to always be active. And you've got to like, to quote David Goggins, you just got to take their soul. And I think if you just keep moving forward and they see like, oh, fuck, this guy is not slowing down. You don't have to do anything magical when you move forward against someone. You don't have to, do some assaults into them, but you could just do something. And I was telling Lloyd this, I was like, just, if you're wrestling with someone and you're standing up in your knacker, just push them or just put your hands forward or do something.
Yeah, I noticed when I was training, it's common knowledge now on Club Iron that my fitness is actually quite bad. So yes, when I was sparring, I was really gassed really quickly. Especially since I was putting a lot of muscle and power into movements, which was a bad move because I was really exerting a lot of energy doing basically nothing. It's like when I was trying to choke you out, I thought I had you. You were breathing like happy days.
I was like, all right.
And I was squeezing my biceps with everything I had, thinking that's the way to choke someone out. And you were just literally there. I was like, yeah, I've got him, yeah. No, you probably would have been able to get out of it, yeah. But I had a good lock on it, but not squeezing anything. All I was doing was squeezing myself.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I was gassed, and what I do, which isn't moving forward, is just lie there hoping you're going to give me a minute to catch my breath. Like if it was one of the boys down, strong boy he was, you know him, down in the Fight Project, wears black all the time, quite muscular. And I remember he was on top of me, and he was down like in my face basically. He had my arms like pinned basically underneath him. And I was just there like panting for air, not moving a muscle. He was just manoeuvring me. He could have picked me up and thrown me across the room and I would have just been limp. Like, and I wasn't moving. I wasn't trying anything. I was just there like, he was waiting. I think he was waiting for something and I was just gassed. It's crazy how when you get gassed, it's like I can't even squeeze anything.
It's fatigue.
It's crazy. And because at the time, I was a powerlifter. So anything that requires muscular endurance,
not there.
I can't do it. Like I gas immediately. I could maybe, if I learned a skill, take someone down and maneuver them into a position and grapple them for a minute. But as soon as that initial burst of energy has been depleted, anything more than that, any endurance, any stamina, gone.
It's good.
So if you were to roll with me now, anybody listening, the best thing to do is just gas me out and then you can do whatever you want to me.
Yeah.
It's easy then. I mean, there's no skill involved either, which is a completely different thing. But it's just crazy. It's crazy how the game changes. And this is what Lloyd was saying. The adrenaline, once that's gone, it's sort of like everything you know seems to go out the window and it's just some man-to-man combat. And that's what I love about it. And I can't get away from it now. Aside from the fact that I haven't gone towards it either, but I can't. It would not leave my mind, and I just think it's a fascinating sport. I like the fact that it's not just arrogance and violence and blood, and I do like the fact that that's involved. But I like the way that it's branded. I don't know whether this is just a branding, but it clearly isn't because you talk about it. I like the way that there's a brotherhood involved there. There's a community. There's an art form to it. Aside from just a skill, there's more to it than just ripping people about. You can get into a flow. You can conquer your own demons doing it. You can play mental and physical chess with people. I love it. I absolutely love the strategy involved.
I think it's beautiful. Like, I don't know what it is.
I wish I knew it more now. Yesterday's changed me as a person. I know I'm making this about me in a post-fight press conference. I managed to find a way to make this about me. But it is something that, as a martial art, I've seen different martial arts. I think it's one of the better ones. I just think it's bizarre.
It's lush.
It's so weird though, watching it. Especially for somebody who doesn't understand. If you're listening and you don't understand jiu-jitsu, I'm sure most of you have seen what it entails to a basic degree. It's just kind of wrapping around each other, grappling. Sort of, it's weird. It's just weird, a weird sport, the way you intertwine with other people and try and maneuver them in a way.
It's beautiful.
You would have thought a fight would just be stood up, punch people back and forth.
It's one of the most effective martial arts in the world, besides boxing.
Yeah, because you can put people out of commission completely.
Yeah.
You can put people in a position where they have absolutely no drive or anything whatsoever. I love it.
And it's one of them where you can force people against their will. Like if I wanted to now, I could come over there and force you out of consciousness against your own will. There's nothing you could do about it.
Absolutely nothing. No, and I get that.
It's
and
class.
This is the thing I noticed with Jamie, who was a black belt down at Fight Project. He's
Head
the head
coach.
coach. I mean, obviously, I haven't had that much experience.
Also an avid listener, by the way.
Oh, that's good. Well, hi
Shout out
Jamie.
to Jamie.
I'll come back soon, I promise. Yeah, but I remember when I rolled with him, obviously he just wanted to, because I was stood there, at the back while everyone was doing their rounds, because I was gassed, and he forced me to come back on and roll with him. I remember when I rolled with you and I rolled with the white belts, and I don't know how many white belts. I think they were all quite good down at Fight Project, to be honest. Yeah, they're all pretty good. But when I rolled with Jamie, it didn't take him long to put me in a position. It didn't hurt. I wasn't in pain. He wasn't ripping my arms off. He just gently, which is strange because I'm stronger than him physically, very clearly, in terms of physical strength and muscular power. It's not happening. He's not going to be able to overcome me that way. But the way he did it, he just sort of... Do you know what's that thing, that crocodile's name? Do you know Kung Fu Panda?
Yeah.
He just seemed to and he does that thing and he just kind of like paralyzes you.
What, the whooshy finger?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, and he's like that. Yeah. So Jamie Phillips is doing the whooshy finger hold to Alex Knott.
No, he wasn't, obviously, but it was like that. It was almost like he put me in a position where I was kind of like floating. And I couldn't move my legs because of the way he had my upper body. I couldn't move my legs. I couldn't get him. Oh, it was bizarre and it was beautiful. None of you guys, none of the rest of you would have done that to me in the same way he did it.
No.
You, I mean, obviously rolling with you could do the same thing to me. You could put me in a similar position.
Not to that.
No, I know, but you've done it. But it was different with him. It was sort of like he didn't do anything. He didn't do much.
It was effortless.
It was effortless, and I think that's beautiful. And I want to be able to do that to anyone of any size, because I'm bigger than him. I'm a lot heavier than him. I'm stronger than him. And if I'd seen him out to the pub, I'd think he's an older guy. I can take him.
Minus
no problem.
his years. Minus his cauliflower years.
Yeah, I don't think he has cauliflower years, does he?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember seeing him. But obviously taking that away, I would see him in the pub and think he's an older guy. If he did start at me, I could take him. How untrue that would be is crazy because of the way he, did that, especially after an injury and stuff like that. Being able to do that so effortlessly. Obviously it was nothing to him. It was my second time ever trying BJJ, and he's been doing it for decades. I just love it. I honestly, and you know me, Math, I reject anything I don't believe in. Get away from me. I don't want it. But although it's just fear. The reason I haven't done it is fear. I don't want to embarrass myself as a man who thinks he's masculine or thinks he can hold his own. I can't in an environment like that. And when I am there, I am the least experienced by a big step, by a whole belt.
Well, there are new starters there that haven't trained at all.
Yeah,
it is scary though, and I think that I say oh, you'll be all right, but I'm looking from a different position.
It's easy for you to say though.
Yeah.
Right?
Like if you said to me, Martha, you're not going to learn anything about BJJ and you have to do it again, I'd probably be a bit scared because I'm so comfortable in martial art, in BJJ.
Do you know what I was thinking about yesterday? Do you know when I was speaking to you in yours yesterday? And this is out of context. I'll try and explain afterwards.
Which part?
When I was telling you, yes, I know BJJ is disciplined and hard for you, but it's not a discomfort. It's not out of your comfort zone. That was not what I meant. What I meant was it's a place of familiarity for you. It's like, for me, I know editing, I know podcasting, I know how to do all this stuff. And when I tell you, just do it, just get on with it. It's easy for me to say because it's something I've done so many times. It's sort of like, it's not that hard for me. Whereas for you, it's something you're not used to. So you're entering uncharted territory. You go into a place you haven't been before. It's like me going to BJJ. You turn up, you're like, oh, just turn up, man. It's just turn up. It's no big deal. Just come down. Easy for you to say. Yes, I know you were there once. But it is easy for you to say, even though I'm not trying to take away the fact that you're scared when you go into a fight. I'm not ever going to try and tell someone, you're not scared before fighting another man. Yeah, I get it. And I'm not saying it's something that you don't have to drag yourself to. I have to drag myself sometimes to edit and sometimes to the gym. But it's familiarity. My body, my mind know it. It's sort of like muscle memory. You know it. It's sort of like you can do it unconsciously. And this is what I was telling you yesterday. For me to go to BJJ, that is like one of the furthest away points from my place of familiarity, my comfort zone. So it's difficult for me to do that. But at the same time, it is something that I believe in a lot. It's sort of part of who I am, the message that it portrays.
Yeah.
It's part of who I am. And it's good for somebody like me who has a huge ego because it does keep you in check. And I think I need something like that.
You do.
I'm self-aware, so I know I have a big ego. I'm not going to drop my ego. And I'm not going to drop it while doing BJJ either. But I want to be in an environment where I'm not allowed to have that ego, where I can just get in tune and grow. Because sometimes having a big ego sometimes takes away from your ability to grow because you don't allow yourself to be honest.
No.
And as much as I am self-aware, I am aware enough to know that I do that. I do sometimes pretend that I'm better than I am.
Good luck having an ego in a BJJ gym.
That's what I mean. I couldn't. But at the same time, there was no shame either. I wasn't. I didn't feel ashamed that I was, out of shape and my cardio was shit and I couldn't overcome anybody there, even the people way lighter than me. Anyone. I was completely and utterly the worst guy there. And as a man who doesn't see himself as the worst in life by far, clearly not the best, but I know what I'm worth and I know I'm capable of great things. But in that gym, although I do still feel that, it's like there are no thoughts you're allowed to have. Don't think. You just go there and learn.
Yeah.
It's sort of like growth without having to worry about life.
Honestly, the last thing you think about is outside that gym when you go there. It's insane. If you have a terrible day, right?
And you talk about this all the time, and I want that as well.
Like, I'm just like, I go in the gym, because your body doesn't think about external stuff when you're training.
That's what I mean. You take it all. It's just physical.
Yeah,
doing execution and just movement.
Because there's danger there as well. It's different because if you're trying to choke me out, I'm not going to think about the fact that I've done X, Y, or Z.
It's bringing it back to basics.
I'm going to think about how the hell do I survive this situation without getting put out. That's all you think about. And it separates you from all the shit that goes on in your life. If you're having a terrible day, right, and you broke up with your girlfriend or whatever, and you go to BJJ, you're not going to be thinking about her when you've got someone on your back trying to choke you out or someone trying to snap your arm.
I feel like people go there and they overcome trauma just through that alone.
I had a lot of
for me, when you go down to the BJJ gym, I go to the pub, and that's what I want to change. I want a different vice because I feel like it's a vice. It's sort of like not an instant gratification, but it almost provides a similar feeling, a dopamine hit.
It's a high.
Instead of me getting a pack of fags in and a bottle of whiskey and ruining my body, I could ruin it in a way that allows me to come out the other end with serious growth.
You could, yeah. And it's like...
It's attractive.
Yeah, and I said yesterday, I said this in the vlog actually as well, that yesterday was my first time fighting in 3 years externally. But the fights I've had in the last 3 years internally, I've had to overcome that to fight externally.
How does that compare, what you did yesterday, to the internal fights you've had recently?
Probably easier to fight externally than fight internally, because like you can either channel all, like I've got a lot of anger inside me, right, from unrelated events to BJJ, right, from outside, from personal stuff.
See this black eye?
Yeah.
The one I'm going to edit in.
Yeah, the obviously edited black eye. But I've got a lot of built up anger, and it's just transformed into something else yesterday, like into focus. Like when I was like in between matches, I was like pacing around the do you know what? Like, even though before you were focused, you didn't give me that focused vibe.
They got to a point where you were just pissed off that you were still waiting 3-4 hours after you were supposed to fight. But between matches, it was sort of like I was trying to get a word in with you. I didn't even bother in the end because I wanted you. Obviously, you weren't going to stop and have a like casual chat. You were focused.
No chance.
But you were pacing back and forth. And, I'll edit this podcast. We'll just chuck this out in a couple of days. So the video, the fight vlog will be in the future.
Okay.
On the time of watching this. But when we do put it out, you'll be able to see the whole day. So, at the time it's released, I'll link it in the description. So if you're watching this at a later date, look down below. Yeah, you can watch that. It was a really good day. I enjoyed it. I've never been to a BJJ fight before. You definitely, because I've told you this before, you don't portray the things you talk about with regards to BJJ into business and other parts of your life. You become somebody who doubts himself, doubts his abilities, doesn't apply himself. Yeah, when it comes to BJJ, that's what you do and that's your strength. I wonder how you can use that. I think it's because you've built, like, you're a blue belt BJJ. That's not an instant overnight thing. That requires real hard work. You've earned that. It took years. So now, exactly, you've been doing it years and you've had 3 years off. So, it's sort of like there's been a long period of time where you've been into BJJ. Right, I know out of it as well, but you've done this for years, so you got to think about how much of a not an easy thing, but a simple thing it is for you now. I've done this for years. All I have to do is turn up. I know what to expect.
I wouldn't say that because I'm still shit. Like there's so much.
That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You've still done it for a while. It's something that you've done and you clearly say you enjoy a lot for the reasons you've just mentioned. But what about things outside of that? Why can't you understand that if you apply yourself properly and go through the initial graft, which you had to do with BJJ, that eventually it'll become more unconscious? Because that's where I'm at with the technical stuff, the nerdy shit. That's where I'm at. It's sort of like, don't even need to think about it. It's therapy. Coming in here and doing bits and doing technical stuff, and I'm you know me. I like a bit of tech. I've got a lot of it. I'm lucky to have different bits that I can play around with, and I love it. You don't, because you won't apply yourself because it's something that you're not comfortable with, that you don't necessarily enjoy. But that was BJJ for you at one point.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah. I'm not saying you have to, because we're different people, and that's why I take the lead on a lot of the techie stuff. But it's the same principle. Eventually, you won't feel that way about it.
No.
But you should be able... This is the thing. The principles you've learned from BJJ, you know what it's like to go through the hardships of it and become a blue belt. I'm not saying you've mastered it. That's not what I'm saying.
Hell no.
But you've mastered a step of it, at least. You've overcome the initial struggle of it. And you know that because you've done it. You've actually done it.
Yeah, it is a tough one, though.
You're not day one. I'm day one. And you're telling me every day what it's going to be like. And once I get past a certain point, it gets easier, but becomes harder at the same time. There are new challenges you face. My problems in BJJ are not things you think about. You're like, get over it. Turning up to BJJ, not a problem. Yes, you might have to drag yourself there, but it's sort of like the problems that I'm having are basic shit for you. You don't worry about them. You've passed that. Your problems are bigger. Not getting choked out. I can just tap because I'm a day one. I'm just learning moves. Turning up is a big thing for me. Turning up for you, you expect that from yourself. Applying yourself there when you're there and challenging yourself. That's where you're at.
I want to do BJJ more as well. I want to honestly, I want to get back to what I was doing years ago. I was training 7 days a week, twice a day maybe sometimes. Obviously, sometimes the schedule won't allow for that, but I want to train as much as I can.
I would be more than happy to spend more time working and allowing you to go to BJJ 7 days a week if you apply the principles that you've learned and that you're currently learning in BJJ to other parts of your life.
Yeah.
I think you use BJJ as a way to escape other parts of your life. And I think that, I'm not saying your attitude towards it is not good, but I think there is an element of it that allows you to not worry about your problems in life, which isn't always a good thing.
No.
Because when you're on the mats, nothing else matters. But if you just go into the mats to feel the freedom from the problems in your life, the problems are going to be there and they're going to grow in the background.
Yeah,
So there must be a way you can connect this. You can use the principles from your BJJ and apply it to the rest of life, because it's a huge thing. You can use BJJ as a foundation for all things in your life, for your values, your principles. And that's what I want to do, actually. I really, really like the sport.
It's probably a case of increasing my self-awareness.
But that's it, isn't it? But BJJ should help you do that. And this is the thing, see, I know you're able to do it through BJJ, but why can't you apply it outside? Maybe you're still trying to learn the mental thing, and maybe you just need to go and do it more.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that.
You know, I'm not saying, like, I'm not ever gonna tell you don't go to BJJ. We've got work to do, because I know how much it helps you. And if your work is going to decrease if you're not doing that. I don't want you to do that. I want you to. You can go 7 days a week, train twice a day.
I would love to.
You know, I mean, there's obviously other things that you can't do. Like, it's probably expensive to do that. You're probably going to be so fatigued that a lot of your time outside of that is going to be based on recovery.
Well, if I get the thermobody kit,
The Terrabody.
is it Terrabody?
We can finance one.
I reckon we should. Imagine.
We'll share one.
I reckon we do. I imagine a BJJ session with Terrabody after it. Because I was thinking about this. I'm like, I said this off air before we even started recording this, but BJJ is a lifestyle. Like, people do BJJ full time. Obviously, they're like world champions and stuff, and they're black belts, and they're good at it. But some people do it full time. That's their life. Wake up, coffee, BJJ, roll, BJJ.
But that's not your life, unfortunately.
No, that's
because
not.
We've got a big business, and we've just started a second business.
Yeah.
How are we going to build that if I am dedicating my time and sacrificing a lot of my time at the gym to that, and you're sacrificing a lot of your time in business to go to the gym?
I'm not saying I would want to be that to be my life, but
no, but you like the lifestyle.
The lifestyle of just rolling.
So you need to find a way to connect the two parts of your life, because at the moment they're two separate bits and they're battling against each other. This has turned into a different style of podcast. This isn't a post-match press
This is Alex not digging into me.
It's not digging into you. It's just we're having an insightful conversation about it, and I've turned it into a conversation about me, selfishly and expectedly. But
I know. Is there any way that I can do something that Alex not can't? I could win the Nogi World Blue Belt Championships, and Alex not to just turn into him. Oh yeah, me
walking out with the medal. Yeah, I won.
Yeah, my shoulder is actually quite fucked as well. I put on my weight and I posted on my weight and it crunched and gave way. So it's not like it's all right. I mean, I won't be training shoulders tomorrow, but you know, maybe a day off from the gym won't hurt. Legs tomorrow, maybe.
You've earned it though. This is the thing.
I don't like that though.
No, math. I don't care. You, Thomas Powell was saying this. You've got to apply yourself. This is the thing. You don't want to apply yourself 100% to things. You apply yourself 60% to a lot of different things at the same time. You know, you're trying to balance too much. I would rather you, because you know when you're looking at tasks, you're like, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and I know full well you're not going to be able to do them all because of the skill level. You need to focus on one thing. So when you've depleted yourself, you've gone and you've done a BJJ comp. Instead of you trying to do business at the same time, focus on that which you did. And now you need to focus 100% on getting yourself ready to get back to business. If you're gonna just go immediately and say no, game's a game, we've got speed and power, you're gonna damage things. 100% recovery, 100% work.
So where's the Terrabody and the Lumi ice bath then?
Or do we need that, or can you just go for a walk and foam roll and go to?
I'll probably go.
You have enough resources. You're a member of a gym with a sauna and a steam room and a pool.
That's where I'm going after this, and then I'm going to edit the two podcasts.
You bloody are.
Martial arts one and Childhood Obesity. They were good podcasts. The solo episodes I like as well. I think the solo episodes are quite good.
I think we need to wrap it up now. We're 40 minutes into this.
Are we?
Podcast. Yeah, 40 minutes.
Are we?
Yeah.
Shit. How do we talk for 40 minutes?
Well, I talked for about 38 of that.
Yeah, probably.
But it's important because I think it's nice for. Well, I was the one stood there watching you fight, so it's good for me to reflect on that. And the crowd seemed happy as well, which is I don't know
good.
who they were supporting. No one was really saying your name. I don't think many of them knew who you were, but I think a lot of them were there for the other guy.
Well, he was a dry athlete when it wasn't.
That's probably that. They were all saying his name.
Yeah.
But you beat him, so who cares?
I just want to do more comps, more experiences, more fights. I mean, if you lose, you dust yourself off and you get back up and you go again. That's it. BJJ is a sport where you can compete all the time, and if you've got good health, you can compete regularly. You know, it's not like an MMA fight where you have one and then you have to take 3 months out.
Where you have to take like a 2-year off.
2-year off season. BJJ, you can compete more.
Can you?
Monthly? That's what I want to do.
Can you really compete that often?
Yeah, you can compete. There's a Mason, one of the boys in the gym. He came up against a boy who's from Ireland who's been traveling Europe competing every weekend.
Every weekend.
Yeah, he's probably sponsored as well, which helps. Hashtag tatami sponsorship. Hashtag Breck and car egg sponsorship as well. That wouldn't be bad. But yeah, you can compete every weekend as long as you keep your body in check and you don't get injuries from the thing. It's probably not the best thing to do because mentally it's probably quite draining. But maybe like 2 a month.
Really?
I'd love to do. I could have competed April the 9th on All Stars in Cardiff, but I'm going to go there to attend and watch and support my teammates and just familiarise myself with the competition environment because I haven't been in one in 3 years and it's an environment that you need to get comfortable in, you know.
Well, you dived back in.
Yeah, getting your name called, having to make weight, it's little psychological things. Going into the bullpen, it's all psychological things that you need to overcome, and I want to get back into that scene because some of my best times in life have come after a competition. The euphoria mainly of winning or losing, not losing, the euphoria of losing, but the feeling of being in a fight and giving in your all. Like I walked off that mat yesterday and I didn't think, I could have given more. I was like, I was fucked. And that's the good feeling. And, you know.
Yeah. I suppose that's the opposite of what I do because I as arrogant as it sounds, if I applied myself 100% to growing myself, there would be no man on this planet that could beat me.
So do it.
But that's the thing. That's the horrible feeling comes from when you know you could have done something better. Like I could have potentially competed yesterday. I wouldn't have won much, I don't think, but I would have had the experience if I trained twice a week since I started. And when did I first come with you? Months ago.
Yeah, it was like February time.
Yeah,
it was before all of them.
I could have had 10. I was under my belt now.
You could have done 3.
Probably wouldn't have been the smartest thing.
No, probably not.
To compete, but I'm just thinking, where could I be? Would I understand what was going on in the comp more? Yeah, I probably would have understood some of the moves. I couldn't name you one thing. You were talking about the Kuna Matata choke or whatever it was you were doing.
Kuna Matata.
I can't. You would say in all sorts of different moves.
Triangle.
I don't know why you.
You're on about the omoplata.
That's it. The
omoplata. Yeah, not Kuna Matata.
Anyway, let's call it a day there. But do you want to? Yeah, final comment.
All right. Final comment is, do the things to scare you because I was shit scared yesterday and I'm so happy I did it. On to the next one. Hopefully more of these bad boys. Decorate the studio maybe. A belt, that would be nice.
You'd have put a belt up in this studio.
Well, I can temporarily fixate it when we have guests.
Yeah, we can. We can do that.
We can sort that out. But anyway, thank you for listening to this probably like 45-minute episode. And if you're into BJJ, chances are this will benefit you. But anyway, nonetheless, this has been a good one. I've been Matthew. Alex has been himself. And we'll see you in the next episode.
Okay. Done. 43